everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for joining. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 books that I would recommend for entrepreneurs and startups. So this is part of me just sharing my 2019 reading list. I read lots all the time, and I'm just showing my top 5 of kind of like each section that I think might be useful for people. If you're interested in getting your hands on some of these books and kind of winning one of them, if you go onto my website, I'm planning to kind of do a bit of a draw and pull some names out of a hat and kind of send a few books off. So if you're interested in getting hold of the books, go in the description to my website and then you can leave your email details there and we'll have a bit of a draw and I'll pull out the book. So I'm going to go through in reverse order my top 5. So top 5 books that I think entrepreneurs and or startups should be reading to just kind of get clued up. So I'm going to start with The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. I kind of found this book a couple of years ago and it's one that I dip in and out of every now and then. You can also, if you go online, you can see quite a few videos and interviews with Eric, which also are really useful, because I do find that some of the concepts in here are a little bit difficult to get your head around. But if you watch some of the videos of him actually explaining the concept on a whiteboard and going through it, it actually makes them stick a lot more. So The Lean Startup is just, again, as the title says, really critical if you're starting your business. It takes a very different approach to a startup than one that you've typically been told in business schools. So rather than doing the kind of, you have to go out and do market research, you then have to do a business plan, you then have to do this kind of says, just start doing the business in a small way, like a very, very small way, and start testing some of your key assumptions about the market, your key assumptions about the cost. And basically, through trial and error, validate those assumptions. That's kind of it. That's the way that you get started, rather than, months, weeks, days, years of planning and not actually doing anything. So that's kind of one of the core concepts of the book. He goes through lots of other things in detail, which I haven't got time to do fully here, but the links to all of the books are down below, so check them out if you want to, or check out his videos kind of on YouTube. So that's The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. The book that's in 4th place for me is Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. Now, I came across this book a couple of years ago, I think it was. To be honest, I'd never even heard of Phil Knight. I hadn't realised that he was the guy that invented Nike, to be honest. Absolutely love this book. And I think, particularly if you're interested in running, because obviously Phil started out, he was a runner, that's how he got into kind of like, creating the Nike trainers. I'm not going to go into the whole thing about whether Nike trainers and cushion trainers are or aren't good for runners. That's like a whole nother video, and I'm not the expert anyway. But I think just in terms of as a book that will give you some business lessons as well as personal lessons, because it kind of goes into Phil's story and how he started the company and some of the challenges that he had and how he overcame them, then I think this is brilliant. And this is kind of the thing that I like about business books that are more like biographies. I think that you still get those business lessons, but it's not as dry, like the content isn't dry. So yeah, really, really good book, Shoe Dog by Phil Knight. And then the books that are in my kind of like joint 3rd position, so kind of like almost 2 and 3, but I couldn't really separate them. Richard Branson's biographies. Now, I read both of these on holiday, 2 different holidays. I read them, absolutely loved them, just loved them from kind of like a story. So if you just want literally a holiday read, to just read the story, because he's done so many things, I think it's absolutely amazing. If I had to pick one that was just more of a story, I'd probably go with his first one. So Losing My Virginity, which kind of takes him from a child up to about 40, 45, I think. And then the second one, Finding My Virginity, is just really around then the development of the further of the Virgin brands and the businesses. But just really, really good, amazing books. I guess as a businessman, he's really mastered that whole personal brand thing and the importance of a personal brand to the strength of your business, because really the Virgin business, part of its success is the strength behind the brands, behind the man himself. So from my perspective, it's just amazing to kind of understand what it is that's gone into that. Authenticity is a word that's kind of talked about a lot and almost like thrown around, but actually if you were to read Richard Branson's story, you really understand why the Virgin brand is as it is currently. one of my favourite parts of the book and one of my favourite quotes is where Richard Branson kind of says, you know, when he got to his 40th birthday, he was a bit depressed because he was thinking, what have I done with my life? And I thought, if Richard Branson's thinking that at 40, and by this stage he'd already created Virgin Atlantic, then I think the rest of us are in trouble. But it's just very, very inspiring. It talks about all of his struggles. You know, they went through the years where they were fighting the Dirty Tricks campaign with British Airways and all of that. So, you know, just really, really inspirational book and just a great story. And then my final book, the book that's in #1 spot. Now, I had never heard of this book before I got into like the property space, and I think we were on a course and one of the instructors, Trevor Cutmore, who is like really amazing, was talking about this little book, and as you can see, it is tiny. It's called Go for No. Go for No, yes is the destination, no is how you get there. And it's by Richard Fenton and Andrea Waltz, who I know do like some online training stuff and events and all sorts of things. It's a tiny book, like it's 76 pages, and I listened to it on audio, and I'm not even sure if it was a complete hour, maybe hour and a half. It's an absolutely amazing book. It's a really cool story. I won't kind of tell you the story because there's like a twist in it at the end and I don't want to spoil it for you. But it's a really, really good book. Go for No is basically telling us about the fact that often when we set targets, particularly around sales and business, we set targets around yeses, you know, how many yeses you're going to get for something. But Go for No just turns that completely on its head, because it tells you to set targets for the amount of no's. And actually, if you set targets for no's, it kind of does a couple of things. But firstly, it motivates you to keep going even when you get a no. And actually, if you're starting out in business, that's really important because you're going to get a lot of no's. But to have the motivation to keep going, even when you get a no, is really important. And so Go for No is critical for that. And also, because you're then going for no, you actually end up with more yeses. I know it sounds bizarre, but you kind of do. You end up with more yeses. So Go for No is really impactful just from that perspective. So that's kind of it, guys. That's my top 5 recommendations for entrepreneurs, startups, new businesses. Check it out. If you like what you've seen today, subscribe to this YouTube channel, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see me review other books, then let me know. Share some of your recommendations and I'll check them out, might listen to them, etc. Go on the website, all of the detail is below in the description. And yeah, it's been fun. Thanks very much, guys, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.